All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Now, in this video, we're going to go over a few things. Well, let's start with Ryan Garcia. You know, he's had that outbreak with Oscar De La Hoya saying he's not going to fight again unless he gets offered 20 mil. And then, you know, he retracts that and takes it back and what have you. Well, here's the point, okay? This is the point. Ryan, for those of you that haven't realized yet, is a drug addict. Ryan is a drug addict. And like most drug addicts, Ryan is just doing the best he can. Okay? Ryan is doing the best he can. And Oscar and Golden Boy are worried about and trying to extract as much wealth and money off of Ryan and before he completely implodes or dies. Now let's move on to what are we going to talk about? The Ali Act. Now, the Ali Act is not important. But what is important is for you guys to know and realize, and I just, before I go on any further, I want to say shout out to D-Style. He had a great show regarding the Ali Act and all that shit. For those of you that don't realize, UFC has made more millionaires, and this is something he mentioned on the show, I'm mentioning it again. He made more millionaires than any other combat sports promotion. Now, yes, the UFC hasn't made payouts like $100 million to a fighter for one fight. But they have produced what I call a healthy middle class when it comes to professional fighters, which does not exist in professional boxing. In professional boxing, it's like a pyramid, and all the money is up top for the 1% of the fighters, like Canelo, like Pacquiao. Most fighters can't make a living fighting, which is not true if you're in the UFC. Even if you're a low-level guy, you're going to get at least 3 fights per year, and you're going to get paid a certain amount, and it's going to be enough for you to be a quote-unquote full-time fighter. And on top of that, with that obviously comes perks like being able to get access to the UFC Fitness Center and all that shit. So there's a lot of people that are millionaires today that have raised kids, families, own homes, opened up businesses, successful ones, from the money that they made in the UFC. In boxing, it's only the top 1% that can do those things. So I actually don't have a problem with getting rid of the Ali Act and running things like the UFC if that's what Turkey and Dana White choose to do. Because it will make, it will create what I call a middle class for professional fighters, which doesn't exist in boxing. It's either you're Floyd Mayweather or you're jack shit and you're working 40 hours to 60 hours a week on top of your boxing. That's the real life of a professional fighter. And on top of that, and most of you guys already know I'm a fighter myself, and I will be the first one to say, giving $100 million or a crazy amount of money like that to any fighter, especially under the age of 30, is not going to benefit anyone or this world in general in any way, shape, or form. As a matter of fact, it's going to harm it. 100%. Fighters are idiots, number one. Number two, instead of that so-called $100 or $50 million or what the fuck going to some stupid ass fighter, that money would be better used going back to the promoter, back to the network, so they could reinvest for future fights for the fans. And so when the contract time comes up and it's time to renew, or they actually pick up the phone and tell the promoter, yeah, let's renew the contract because we're actually making money. Huh? How about that? Now look, of course, the fighter should get paid. But most of the money should not be going to the fighter. Most of it should be going back to the network, back to the promoter, so they could then reinvest it in future fights and a good product for the fans. And then, so when the contract ends, like it did with just ESPN and Top Rank just now, the network actually goes and says, you know what? Let's renew the contract because we're this is a good business. We're making money. And the fans are happy. There is no middle class in professional fighting and boxing. And it's because of this bullshit. 1% of all fighters gets all the money. Fuck that. The UFC model is better. Straight up. Do your research. The worst a fighter can get paid in the UFC, and this is not even true anymore because this is old news. I don't know what the new number is now. I'm sure it's different. But the lowest they can get paid is 10 grand. Most fighters that debut all the way up to their, 10th fight could possibly be doing it all for free in pro boxing. On top of paying the opponent out of their pocket. That's like the worst scenario. The best case scenario is you getting paid like $2,000 for your first fight. If you get paid $2,000 for your first fight in professional boxing, that's almost unheard of. That probably means you are a medalist of some sort on the national stage, and you also slayed a dragon and a bear at the same time. Other than that, you're doing it for free. So that 10 grand sounds a lot better. Yeah, that sounds a lot better. What else? What else do we have to talk about? See, Rolly Romero agrees with me. I've heard him say these things in an interview. You know? So you even got fighters, aside from myself, because I'm a broke ass fighter saying this shit. You also got rich ass fighters saying this shit. Alright? Other than that, that's it. Watch out for more future content. And that'll be all for now.